Welcome, everyone. Good morning. Good morning to all of you who are gathered here in our sanctuary and to all who are joining us online today. We begin our service with a musical prelude by Scott DeVoe. Thank you, Scott. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Charlottesville. My name is Angela Orbaugh. My pronouns are she and her, and I'm pleased to be weaving worship this morning with Laura Wallace and music director Scott DeVoe. This sanctuary was built over 70 years ago on the homeland of the Monacan people and was once cared for by enslaved people from Africa and their descendants. We honor all who have dwelt here and all in our congregation whose lives have led to this moment of our gathering. Now I invite us to take a moment to greet others. Those online may unmute and say hello. Those here in the sanctuary or the social hall are welcome to greet your neighbors, especially those that you may not know.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, everyone.
Hello, good morning. It's a chilly one out there, isn't it?
Okay, we offer a special welcome to newcomers and invite you to join us for fellowship after the service in the social hall. Now, please feel free to use one of our red coffee mugs. These are reserved for visitors. We also encourage you to stop by the connections table near the monitor in the social hall. Seating is also available today in the social hall where there's a live stream of the service. So everyone is welcome here in the sanctuary. But if you need a little roomier space to stretch out, the social hall is also a great option. Many thanks to all of the folks helping us to share worship here, both in the sanctuary and online. Our greeters, our ushers, our hospitality and logistics team, and special thanks to our AV tech, Rachel Buckland, and for supporting our dual platform worship, both online and here on Rugby Road. Now we have greetings from board member Bev Ryan. Good. Welcome, Bev.
Thank you. Good morning. It's really good to be here. Look at all these people here after Thanksgiving. Yay, congratulations to us. I am Bev Ryan. I'm the vice president of the board. And I have just a few words to say if I can find them on my phone. Okay. Just for a quick board update, the strategic plan task force has been appointed and they have started meeting. The goal is to have the plan developed by spring with time for discussion and conversations before our annual meeting in June. The budget process has started. It's beginning earlier this year. Ministry, our treasurer, as well as representatives from Personnel Committee and Finance Committee, representative from the board, me, and our treasurer, Kay Frazier, will be, and our DAF will be attending a kickoff budget meeting, and that will be in December. It'll be our time to share our information and thoughts on our values, goals, and facts that will be important in discussion and final decisions for the upcoming fiscal year. It's, you know, it's fiscal, it's going to be, I can never get fiscal years right, but I think it's fiscal year 25, which seems incredible. I'll be in the social hall after the service. I'll be by the monitor if anybody has any questions or just wants to come chat with me, that would be great. And I had a request, it's not really under the board thing, but we need people to help clean up after Pacham next Saturday. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Bev. And we do have some announcements this morning. To tag on to what Bev said, we are currently hosting our guest from Pacham in the Summit House, and volunteers are needed to prepare and serve dinner this week up until December 2nd, and also to help pack up on December 9th. Now, to sign up, you go to the link for the Sign Up Genius, which can be found in the Friday newsletter. Also, many thanks to all who coordinated and attended the UU Seville Thanksgiving dinner. It was a joy to be able to spend the holiday sharing a meal with our church family. And a special thanks to Carol Saliba for taking the lead. Thank you very much, Carol. Our new UU Congregation of Charlottesville t-shirts are for sale and they look fantastic. Shirts come in all different sizes, $15 for youth, $20 for adults. We have shirts available for free for those whose budgets are tight. And shirts are available for purchase through the church website. They can also be purchased today after the service in the social hall. Today, after the service, we will have the Holiday Arts and Crafts Bazaar in the social hall. So you can do some shopping, you can support our congregation's talented artists and craftspeople. Join us for refreshments and conversation today in the social hall after the service. Also, here's some save the dates for you to mark your calendars. First off, the UU Seville Holiday Party, December 9th, 2 to 4:30. We also have the Solstice Lantern Walk coming up on December 17th, 4:30 to 6. More information can be found on each of these in the Friday newsletters. Now, you may know the Summit House porch is in critical need of repair. So the UU Seville Board is asking all who are able to make a financial gift to the Support Our Porch campaign on or before Giving Tuesday, which is this coming Tuesday, November 28th. And this critical repair will make the porch safer for all of us, also help to prevent any more serious damage that could occur to the Summit House as a whole. The estimated cost for this project is $38,000, $250. The Finance Committee recommended and the board approved the use of a combination of reserve funds, which will cover most, but not all of the costs. That's where we come in. To make up the difference, we're going to need to raise $8,000 by Giving Tuesday. So please donate through the church website. You can also speak directly with Kay Frazier, our church treasurer, and no amount is too small. And we thank you in advance. And now let's center ourselves for worship.
As frozen earth holds the determined seed, this sacred space holds our weariness, our worry, our laughter, and our celebration. Let us bring seed and soul into the light of thought, the warmth of community, and the hope of love. Let us see together, hear together, love together. Let us worship.
As Sharon Biacco lights the flame of our chalice this morning, please join me in saying our unison chalice lighting words. We gather this hour as people of faith with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs. We light this beacon of hope, sign of our quest for truth and meaning in celebration of the life we share together. And now you can join me in doing the hand motions. We light this chalice to celebrate Unitarian Universalism. This is the church of the open mind. This is the church of the helping hands. This is the church of the loving heart. Please rise now in body or spirit for our opening hymn, number 21, For the Beauty of the Earth. The words will be projected on the screen.
I now invite you to join together in a few minutes of guided meditation in 3 parts. First, which is not a part, start with a wiggle to chase off any traces of Thanksgiving stress. Just kind of let some of that out. And then settle into relaxation and deeper breathing for 1 minute. Here's how. Start with the muscles at the top of your head that you can feel or imagine, and send them a message to just relax. While you're doing this, close your eyes and breathe gently and deeply, if you can do both. At your own pace and in whatever order you like, move down your body in your mind and invite each set of muscles, head, neck, shoulders, torso, as you like. And get yourself slowly relaxed, going from the top to the bottom of your body to your toes. Keep breathing deeply and comfortably, and we'll just keep doing that for a little while. Now, visualize your chest and think about your heart. And get in touch with your feelings of love and compassion for the world, all the suffering that you would like to ease by sending love and compassion out to the world. Imagine that your heart is a great big searchlight. And as you close your eyes and sit with that image, send the beam from this powerful searchlight of love and compassion out over the world, and let it bring light to all the places where it is needed. And now, take hold of that big, powerful searchlight that's beaming out over the world and turn it all the way around so that it is beaming that powerful love and compassion straight back into you. And now gently bring yourself back into this room, all the people near, and wake yourself up in whatever gentle way you would like to. Thank you. Now, this time in our service is for sharing joys or sorrows that call out for community. I now light a candle for all the joys and sorrows in each of our hearts that are unspoken this morning. We hold them together with love.
This community offers its love and support to what is closest to our hearts. Another way that we show our care for one another is in sharing our financial gifts with our community and our congregation. Our social action collection for the month of November is for Birth Sisters of Charlottesville. And Rachel has already shown us the social action slide for giving for those of you who would like to make a donation right now. Now, in addition to giving online, if you would like to give today with cash or check, please use the social action collection envelopes here in the sanctuary and place your offering in the collection plates. But remember, do not seal those envelopes because we do reuse them. Now, alongside our social action collection each week, we invite everyone into the spiritual practice of generosity by giving to the ministry of our congregation. Through your pledges and with the weekly Sunday morning offering together, our financial gifts and support sustain our congregation. This is our shared ministry. Now, during the music that follows, you may choose to make your Sunday morning offering using the text address or going to the website. Here in the sanctuary, once again, you may place cash or checks in the collection plates as they are passed. Let us dedicate all of the many gifts we share with one another by saying, "We accept your gifts with gratitude. May we use them wisely for the highest good." Thank you, Scott. So today's reading comes from the book Rooted: Life at the Crossroads of Science, Nature, and Spirit by Leanda Lynn Haupt. So our UU Spirituality Book Club is reading this book this month, and all are welcome to join us. We do meet on Zoom at 7 p.m. on the first Thursday of each month. And you can join us even if you haven't read this book or any of the other books that we may have assigned for that month. If you are interested in our book group, please reach out to one of the leads, Janine Braithwaite or Tammy Wilt, if you have any questions. So I'll start today's reading from Rooted. The word rooted's own root is the Latin radix, the center from which all things germinate and arise. The radix is the radical, the intrinsic, organic, fervent heart of being and action. Rooted lives are radically intertwined with the vitality of the planet. In a time that evokes fear and paralysis, rooted ways of being with nature assure us that we are grounded in the natural world. Our bodies, our thoughts, our minds, our spirits are affected by the whole of the earthen community and affect this whole in return. This is both a mystical sensibility and scientific fact. It is an awareness that makes us tingle with responsibility, its beauty, its poetry. It makes our lives our most foundational form of activism. It means everything we do matters and matters wondrously.
Thanks for this reading, Angela. That was wonderful. Good morning. Good morning, balcony. Good morning, Zoom people. If only we knew and you were all here, but we're going to pretend you are, because you are. I titled this sermon, A Personal Earth. For me, it is a very meaningful privilege to be back in the UUCville pulpit. I want to thank everyone involved in making this possible. Our services have evolved so much that we need a crew, not just a few, and that's wonderful. This will be my 7th lay sermon here in 40 years, and each one has been a chance to redefine a viscerally agnostic spirituality and share some of its quirkier bits with this community I love. And also to fulfill a few genes I was born with. I write a lot and love the oral tradition. My grandfather, though, was a hellfire and brimstone pastor in plain states and tornado territories. There will be no hellfire today, unless we count the climate. I also tend to break too many of the rules of proper sermon writing, unfortunately, in that I don't outline, use the first person way too much, and sort of ADHD ramble and free associate my way to some sort of view that I hope is shareable. So thank you very much for the generosity of your listening. As inquiring, open-minded UUs, we're all pretty familiar with the joys of label gazing, or maybe it's navel gazing. We may have grown up with one set of labels, chosen different ones as we matured, and yet the older we get, we may find ourselves less than excited about our latest and most accurate personal descriptions. As I was beginning to write this, I went outside to find out if one label I always liked is still truthful. Tree hugger. Yes, it is. I can only get my arms halfway around a shaggy barked silver maple, though. One theory I hold is that this tree is going to take me out one day because it's 70-ish, very tall, shallow rooted, and 4 feet from my house. Modern urban planners specifically recommend that these are not appropriate trees for residential areas, but in the 50s, they were planted all over. I do not like having hefty branches crash onto my roof in windy weather, but I do like having the tallest tree on the block, which says something unpleasant about me, not the tree. For all those reasons, I should rationally have it cut down. Good thing I undervalue rationality. The tree was here first, and the crack it's made in the foundation isn't so bad. If this old maple dies from something other than age, it'll likely be from a parasite it's treated for once a year. This I came to view as happy news. Once I realized that dying of a disease called gloomy scale would be the perfect thing for a poet's obituary. Poets are weird. I also have toddler trees in my yard that were generous gifts from Jean, our member who serves faithfully on the city's trees commission. But I generally think about nature as neither old nor young. It just is what it is and doesn't care about our labels. If we could anthropomorphize the earth and its climate as one living being, though, it's looking pretty gloomy lately. One very powerful species has evolved into using rampant destruction and pollution to meet its needs and cravings. And we all know deep down that the planet and climate don't need hugs, they need our active help if they're going to keep on caring for us. How we anthropomorphize nature might hold a small key to a few constructive thoughts about the environmental and climate crises. Beware the wrath of Mother Nature is one concept about power and survival that is simply bred into us. When a tornado comes, we run into shelter if we can. On the positive relationship side, Native American spirituality models respect, gratitude, humility, and restraint toward nature. On the negative side is a horrible human relationship to the earth, summed up in one translated word in one human text: dominion. Imagine, if you will, what might have been different in this world if the translation chosen there had been stewardship or even love. So why is the earth seen as such a powerful mother? She feeds, clothes, and shelters us, or we use her for that. What might change if, rather than feeling doomed by some DNA to dominate whatever we can, we started thinking of the earth as a vulnerable elder instead? One we care for, learn both happy and hard lessons from, and will not discard. What if we stopped using her exclusively while still valuing the gifts she can give us without fatal sacrifice? As a small but generally prosperous religious tribe, one thing you could voluntarily contemplate is the difference between needs and cravings. This is some of the hardest spiritual work a privileged person can do. It encompasses justice and care for the poor and for animals, both of whom are paying all over the world a terribly disproportionate price for the destructive habits of the most creative and intelligent species on Earth, unless we finally consider that whales might be smarter than we are and stop grading animals by a human curve. Eventually, unless we change as though we mean it, the price will come due for the privileged too, and in some painfully personal ways. Again, one big step toward change is to make many of our decisions based on the difference between our needs and our cravings. If we don't, the due date may come too late. We are an at-risk species, to personalize it further. Or maybe we're already endangered now, which is painful to think about. Is this the hellfire and brimstone? Reverend Tim encouraged me to work in some sections from a sermon on the environment titled Healing the Gulf that I gave here in 2010 after the Deepwater Horizon oil spill disaster. So here's one section, a bit revised. You don't want to ask, by the way, whether I practice what I preach. The answer is no, or so inconsistently that I wonder daily if in the moral universe it even counts. I drive an oil-guzzling vehicle because those are the wheels I have and could afford. Update. Happily, I was able to buy an old Prius from the late Glenn Short, one of our community's most impassioned activists, when he quit driving. Unhappily, I shop mostly online, which involves both shipping wastes and pollution and supporting a community flattening industry owned by an oligarch. Ouch. I not often, but sometimes fly, which spews out filthy trails beneath my feet. And I've only recently taken in the idea that recreational flying could be wrong. A plane is the most polluting means of transport and the one that generates the most greenhouse emissions. I've considered just exploring my own state for the rest of my life when a thirst for adventure kicks in, enjoying how diverse and beautiful this state is. I'm an ovo-lacto-conveniento pescatarian and really loves animals, but I still pretend the leather in my shoes is too far down there to see. I am still recycling multiple plastics because I accept them or lazily assume that I have to in the first place. It turns out that with the exception of one chain, that was 13 years ago, that was Safeway, which sells them to a manufacturer of plastic timber. Most bags we take back to grocery stores are baled and shipped overseas, where, in addition to some being recycled, they're often burned for fuel by the desperately poor, which spews our plastics toxins into their air over there. Our Unitarian Universalist seventh principle affirms respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part. If you're a relatively new you may not be aware that the seventh principle was only added to our testaments in the 1980s. We've had excellent guiding principles all along, but not one of them made a single reference to the earth, the planet on which we and all other living species depend for food and water, for energy, for inspiration, for breath, and for our very existence. The principle that, one might say, either trumps, or makes all others possible. In other words, we can be kind, tolerant, and aware until the cows come home. But if we have very limited sustainable habitat or agriculture, our descendants will be too busy fighting wars over resources to worry about the fine points of love and justice. Here's another quote from an article on triple inequality in The Guardian a few days ago. Despite the population growth in the poorest and usually hottest countries, they are also in regions that, on current trends, will contribute the least to the emissions that drive the climate disaster. So extreme is the inequality that the lowest earning 50% of the world population, 4 billion people, account for as little as 12% of total emissions. And those at the very bottom of the pile barely register at all. Mali's per capita CO2 emissions are about 1/75 of those in the US. Even if the lowest earning third of the global population, more than 2.6 billion people, were to raise themselves above the $3.20 a day poverty line, it would increase total emissions by a mere 5%. That is 1/3 of the emissions of the richest 1%. More statistics. Half the world's population, led by the top 10% of the income distribution, and above all, by the global elite, drive a globe-spanning production system that destabilizes the environment for everyone. The worst effects are suffered by the poorest, and in the coming decades, the impact will become progressively more extreme. And yet their poverty means they are virtually powerless to protect themselves. Now let's get back to the fun part, contemplating the differences between our actual needs and cravings to consume. Could this become a UU spiritual practice? If not, why is that so? Is it asking too much of ourselves? For example, food is an inescapable need and can also trigger many a craving. One hoary old factoid won't leave us alone, however. The number one most positive impact one human being in the developed world can have on saving our planet and climate is not buying an electric vehicle. It's not eating meat. I've managed to stop consuming the flesh of mammals and poultry, relapsing every Thanksgiving. But in my personal protein hunt, I've deliberately refused to hold any compassion for fish. And I also consume eggs and some dairy. Heist on me own fork is the truth of it. I'm a privileged poster child for hypocrisy then, but I'd certainly be a virtue signaler if I had enough virtue to share. There's another principle that's both positive and popular, except that it is just 3 words, and most privileged people struggle to remain mindful of the most important word by far. The 3 R's are reduce, reuse, and recycle. Reuse seems practical and mostly self-evident. Recycle is a mixed bag in effectiveness, but certainly better than endlessly increasing the size of toxic landfills that dribble poisons into the soil and water, and of plastic islands in the ocean which choke endangered marine animals and poison and stress the fish that are a key part of so many humans' food supply. Following the first part, reduce your consuming, can help your individual relationship with a personal planet to thrive. We can do that in so many ways. For me, one simple one would just be finally winning my struggle to remember to always carry my own reusable bag when I shop locally. Another is intentionally visualizing the natural life of any animal I'm about to load onto my plate. Allowed to live their lives, cows, chickens, pigs, and lambs frolic, congregate, form real emotional bonds, fear, violence, and pain, and mourn their fellows. That's when another spiritual growth engine can kick in, compassion. Okay, if we're all feeling guilty now, I have failed in my mission. Reflexive guilt does not serve us or the planet, though it can help by waking us up to our choices. Guilt is the recognition I've done harm. So the next thing to do is to make whatever amends I can. Guilt's cruel cousin, shame, does not help. But love does serve us and this planet. It comforts, inspires, and sustains us from the inside out. I'll close with two simple practices you might try, and one may sound familiar. Turn the personal searchlight of your own love and compassion out over this planet and all who live here. Then turn it around and beam it into your own imperfect, beautiful heart. Feel it all. And hug a tree once a week, maybe. So may it be.
Please rise in body or spirit and join us in singing our closing hymn number 1064, Blue Boat Home.
Standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean, still my dry land heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. Sun, my sail, and moon, my rudder, as I ply the starry sea, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep, drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way by the lights of the heavens in our beautiful blue boat home. I give thanks to the waves upholding me, hail the great winds urging me on, greet the infinite sea before me, sing the sky my sailor's song. I was born upon the fathoms, never harbor wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. My blue boat
Go forth in simplicity. Find and walk the path that leads to compassion and wisdom, happiness, peace, and ease. Welcome the stranger and open your heart to a world in need of healing. Be courageous before the forces of fear. Hold and embody a vision of the common good that serves the needs of all people.